Good day, Weekend Post viewers. My name is Pal Pakedi. Today in studio, we're graced by the presence of Mr. Dipopego Julius Tsheko, who is the project manager at the GlobalExpo Botswana. He's here to give us an insight or rather a glimpse of what they have in hand on this year's expo. Mr. Tsheko, good day.
Good day, ma'am.
Thank you for joining us.
You're welcome.
Can you please give us an overview of the expo, where it started, what initiated the idea, and where we are now?
All right. Yeah, GlobalExpo has come a very long way. It was conceptualized way back in 2005.
That's a long time ago.
Yes, because at that time we had what was known as Botswana International Trade Fair, you know, Dipopego, and yeah. And at the time, government felt like, you know, this show was like a flea market. And for us to really achieve our goals and objectives of diversifying our economy away from dependence on mineral resources, we needed to come up with a platform whereby, you know, goods that are manufactured here in Botswana could be showcased for the international buyers, as well as to use that platform to try and attract foreign direct investment into our country and to facilitate trade between Botswana and its trading partners. That is how GlobalExpo came about. At the time that it was conceptualized in 2006, the mandate to run and organize it was given to Botswana Export Development and Investment Authority, BITC. And when BITC was merged with Botswana International Financial Services Center in 2012, the mandate was now taken over by the new baby that was Botswana Investment and Trade Center, BITC, who are still the managers or organizers of the GlobalExpo to date.
So these are the guys behind the expo?
Yes, BITC is the owners of the expo, where we are running it on behalf of Botswana government and the general Botswana public. So GlobalExpo is not an independent company or entity. It is a project or a department under Botswana Investment and Trade Center.
Oh, amazing.
Yeah.
So can you kindly share with our viewers what they should look forward to on this year's expo in terms of activities and so forth? Yes,
the expo, as you may recall, has not been there for the past 2 years, owing largely to the COVID-19 pandemic, but also due to the fact that in 2021, BITC was tasked with leading Botswana's participation at Expo 2020 Dubai. So we couldn't, you know, overstretch our resources by continuing to have GlobalExpo at the time when half or even more than half of our staff was in Dubai. So we didn't have the expo in 2021. But in 2020, we had it in a virtual format. It was the first ever virtual fair that was held in this country. So this year, we are having exhibitors, mostly from the SADC area, as usual, South Africa, Zimbabwe, our main trading partners, Lesotho, Mozambique, Namibia, and as far as Nigeria, Kenya, India, Indonesia, and so on. But we are also having our investment and trade conference, which will be graced by, very prolific speakers, some being business people, some being, heads of corporates, and our guest speaker will be the president and chairman of the African Export and Import Bank based in Cairo, Egypt. He's called Professor Benedicto Rama. This visit is very important for both of us. When I say both of us, I mean Botswana and Afreximbank, because this bank invested or led, the facilitation of investment of $200 million for the expansion of Karowe mine by Lucara near Letlhakane last year. So we believe that they coming here will continue what they started with Lucara about 3 years back by investing in other projects across the country. As we know that a lot of our youth are not working, so we are continuously looking for opportunities to create employment for them. So we believe that people coming to GlobalExpo will be able to have high-level meetings, not only with government, but also with the heads of corporates and the private sector that could result in, industries being set up here to create jobs for our people.
So you would say this is the guest of honor?
He's the guest of honor
for this year's expo.
Yes, for the official opening, which will also be graced by His Excellency the President of our Republic,
right.
Dr. Mokgweetsi Eric Gabezo Masisi. And we will also be having Chief Executive Officer and Chairman of Dubai Multi-Commodities Exchange.
Wow.
I'll also talk a bit about that as we continue, why we have also invited him to our conference.
All right. I'd like you to share the experience, the Dubai Expo, before we move forward, because that sounds actually like a milestone reached by by us. So can you just like give us a brief...
I'm laughing because I didn't go to Dubai, but I've been to Dubai
but
before.
But your team went there, didn't
it? Our team went there.
I'm sure they shared something with you.
from their own eyewitness accounts. It was a mind-blowing experience.
I can imagine.
I mean, they had over 193 countries participating for 6 months at Dubai Expo. It was a very big show. It's a big show that comes once every 5 years. I think the next one will be in Japan. The last one was in China. So it was a good experience, not only for our staff at BITC, but also for the Botswana businesses that we supported, not just as BITC, but through the assistance of entities such as your Depswana, Lukara, ODC, DTC, BDC, SIDA, and BIH. They supported a lot of our SMMEs and small companies to go there and try and showcase their goods and to try and just share, the knowledge and experience with their counterparts from across the globe.
Right.
So we believe that, the results from our participation at that show will eventually start showing, because we have a couple of entities or companies that have already shown interest to set up here after we met them at the expo. One of them is in the dairy farming. They want to come and set up a big dairy farm here. As you know, that we've been struggling as a country to establish a dairy industry. We've been importing milk from South Africa for a very long time. Others are within the diamond cutting and the polishing space. Some have already set up here. So we believe that participating at Dubai Expo was not really in vain. The results will start to show very soon.
Right.
Yeah.
And the expo is well known for having the guest of honor, guest speakers. They're well known. So I'm curious as to what criteria you use to pick the guest of honor for the expo.
Yeah, that's a very good question. When we invite somebody to be our guest of honor, we look at a couple of factors. We don't just invite you to be our guest of honor because maybe you are popular.
Right.
You are a popular star musician or an athlete who will come here and cause a lot of excitement, but at the end of the day, when it comes to investment or business-wise, there's nothing that you leave for us. I'm not trying to cast any aspersions or
cast anybody out.
No, I'm not trying to say that people from the creative sector don't matter. We have invited them before, and they also play their role, because we know that the creative sector is another emerging industry in Botswana. But what we look at is, okay, so and so. For instance, Professor Benedict Orama, he is president and chairman of the board of directors of Afrixim Bank. It's a bank. It's a bank that is owned by African governments, Botswana included,
right?
And other private sector entities, private sector investors, other financial institutions, and even investors from outside Africa. But it is a bank that has invested in a lot of infrastructural projects across Africa. It is a bank that is doing a lot to facilitate intra-Africa trade through the new, African Continental Free Trade Area agreement. So when we realized that last year they invested, probably it was their biggest investment, if not the first, through Lukara, for the expansion of Karowe mine, that will see the mine, expanding and extending its lifetime beyond 2040. We thought maybe we should invite this gentleman because we have never had him in Botswana in any official capacity.
Right.
Because we believe that if when he is here, we can then, show opportunities that have been here, projects that have been lacking funding, because they have the funds. And we have projects that could create jobs for our people, but we don't have funds.
Right.
Our government doesn't have funds to create jobs for our people. So that is why we invited him. And then if you take Sultan bin Soliam from Dubai, he's the chief executive officer and chairman of Dubai Multi-Commodities Exchange. Dubai Multi-Commodities Exchange, it is a marketplace where they sell a lot of commodities, from your diamonds, your tea, your coffee, gold, silver, or whatever commodity you can think of. As a country, we are aspiring to have a multi-commodities exchange such as Dubai. So we believe that him coming here will help us to achieve that. Not only that, remember last year, October, Okavango Diamond Company, they held a sale in Dubai at the DMCC, Dubai Multi-Commodities Exchange, and they managed to sell over 1 billion bula worth of diamond in a single day in Dubai. That is the gentleman who facilitated that. He will be here at GlobalExpo next week, and we believe him coming here and a high-profile person from the UAE coming here for the very first time, we believe that it is something for our country. We believe when he lives here, our trade relations with Dubai, because our statistics show that over the past 10 years, our trade with Dubai has been expanding positively. So we believe that him coming here, because we expect him to come with other people, it will lead to a further increase in trade between us and the UAE, United Arab Emirates. Yeah.
Okay, so we basically pick people who can benefit the country at large.
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right. In 2018, you introduced the investment battlefield, which was a motivation for the youth to get involved with business and innovation.
Yeah.
What activities do you have in plan for our youth in this year's expo?
This year we have very exciting activities at the GlobalExpo. Still within the technology or tech space. When we started this GEB investment battlefield in 2018, we wanted to come up with a platform where we can try to unearth talent within the tech space, within the startup ecosystem in our country, where we can be able to get startups that can be able to go and compete or go and sit in Silicon Valley and work with their peers, startups that could be able to work for the likes of Facebook, Google, and so on.
Right.
We have tried to facilitate virtual contact promotion missions with the likes of Israel during COVID, to try and see if we could match any of our startups with potential angel investors and venture capitalists.
Right.
Yes, we are starting to see the results. But when we were approached by a non-governmental organization, a local NGO called Destination Imagination, that is running STREAM activities within our schools. STREAM is short for Science, Technology, Robotics, Engineering, Arts, and Mathematics.
The one in Jwaneng, offered by Jwaneng Mine to the local schools?
No, it's not offered by Jwaneng Mines. It's offered by Destination Imagination. It's an NGO, but probably Jwaneng Mine has sponsored them before, because they depend on sponsorships from corporates, from UNICEF, and so on. So they do establish these STREAM clubs within schools, public schools, and even private schools. So where the kids do get to do projects based on challenges that they would have been given, whether it's robotics, whether it's artificial intelligence, whether it's virtual reality, whether it's augmented reality, whether it's coding, and so on. So they had planned to host about 1,500 kids during the GlobalExpo to compete in a tournament, to compete in this STREAM activities. So we thought, it would give more impact if we support grassroots level development as opposed to where we started in 2018. Because they are working with the grassroots. So we believe, as government has been, talking about knowledge-based economy, we want to be a knowledge-based economy. We can't be a knowledge-based economy if we start with me, who saw a computer for the first time when I went to UB in 1995. So you need to start with these ones who already know about computers
they're
at primary
to
school.
Technology.
Yeah. So the tournament will be running from the 1st up to the 4th, but I think the last days they are going to have a teachers symposium to try and workshop teachers on how to establish these STREAM clubs within their schools and how to assist kids to be able to STREAM, because STREAM is the future. For us to be able to find new ways of generating income, new ways of
solving problems.
Yes, the STREAM is the way.
Okay.
Yeah.
So Ghana, the Investment and Trade Conference has clearly been playing a critical role to the expo. What's the process to picking the topics that are discussed in the conference?
The topics, the process is just the same as the one for picking the guest of honor that you asked me about earlier on.
Right.
We look at what is happening locally in terms of economics, in terms of the economy. And then we look at what is happening globally. I mean, for instance, if you take the Ukraine-Russia war, you will see how it has affected a lot of, global value chains.
True.
A lot of our prices have gone up: cooking oil, bread,
fuel,
wheat, rice, fuel, because of a war between just two countries that are very far from where we are. So we look at those things and then we say, but what can we do as Botswana? What can we do to try and mitigate against these risks in future? So that is how we come up with topics. Like, for instance, this year, one of the topics is on financing solutions that could help us to take full advantage of the African Continental Free Trade Agreement. And then another one is with regards to digitalization within commodities trading. That is where that gentleman I told you about from Dubai comes in as the guest, as the main speaker. And then the other one is on digitalization within the health space, within the health sector.
All right.
So those topics, we came up with them because our anchoring theme is digitalization. So all our topics are focusing on digitalization.
Okay.
Yes. When you talk of the health sector, people have been talking about telemedicine and all the other, innovations that you can think of within the health sector. So we believe that the people that will be coming to discuss this topic at the GlobalExpo will be able to give us some insight and even offer some solutions on what we can do as a country to move forward.
Right.
Yeah.
This is clearly quite a huge event. I believe most companies, if not all companies, want to be involved with the expo. Can you kindly share the sponsors for this year?
Okay, thank you very much. But before I mention the names of the sponsors, maybe I should start by, expressing our most sincere gratitude to the sponsors, because if it were not for them, this year's event would not have been possible.
Oh, lovely.
Because we didn't have the funds. We only started promoting the expo in September.
Right.
After the sponsors started coming on board. We had like less than a third of the funds that we needed to run the expo.
My
So
goodness.
sponsors such as Okavango Diamond Company, they came in as a platinum sponsor.
Error.
Sponsors such as Afrexim Bank from all the way in Egypt, they came on board. Sponsors like HB Antwerp, which is a diamond marketing and selling company
Error.
that is based in Belgium, and which intends to use this year's Global Expo as a launch pad for them setting up here in Botswana.
Oh.
Yes. We also have the likes of BDC, we have the likes of Murupule Coal Mine,
Error.
we have the likes of Bofinet pledging internet, we have the likes of MTN Business also giving us internet.
Error.
We have the likes of, I think, Gabs FM and Weekend Post being our media partners.
Error.
Yes.
That's so lovely.
Yeah.
Okay. Can you also share to our viewers details about the expo, where they can get in touch with you if they want to maybe sponsor, exhibit, or visit the Global Expo this year?
Okay, yeah. For those that are within Gaborone, they can come to our offices in the CBD, Central Business District. We are opposite Massa Protea Square Hotel. And Global Expo is on the ground floor as you enter the building. They can also call us on 363300 or 363301, or they can email myself at Tshekod, TSHEKOD @bitc.co.bw.
All right. Yeah. Thank you for joining us today, Mr. Tsheko.
Thank you very much.
That was Mr. Tsheko, Project Manager of Global Expo Botswana, on the 16th edition of the Expo. Be on the lookout for this huge event that will be held on the 1st to the 4th of November this year at Fairgrounds Holdings. From me, Pel Pakedi, and the rest of Weekend Post crew, till we meet again.